I'm Janice Sullivan from Sullivan J Photography, and this is where we talk about macro and landscape photography, post-processing, behind the scenes, equipment, you name it, and we will chat about it. Have you ever wondered why some of your images may have turned out really crappy? That's probably because you have let the camera take the picture for you. I'm going to teach you about exposure today. Okay, we're going to get into exposure. Yes, there's 3 components that we're going to talk about, but I want to give you a little bit more details about exposure. Your camera is a tool that lets in light to take pictures. And in order for you to understand how to use this camera that you own, you need to put your camera on manual mode. This is just for you to learn. You don't always have to keep it on manual. But in order to really understand and get up close with your camera, it's good to learn with the manual mode. With that said, even when you start adjusting these components, your camera cannot handle extreme brights when it comes in to the camera. It cannot handle this extreme brights, really white and light areas, and then at the same time handle inside, as you're pushing down the shutter, extreme darks. At least at this moment. They are changing the cameras up now. You might see an HDR component in your camera or your newer cameras, and that is what the camera makers understand, that we want to see this wide range in the photograph. You want to see the clouds in the sky and then maybe the dirt on the floor. So if you have taken a shot and you're like, why can't I not see the sky? Because your camera couldn't handle it. But with that, you can still manipulate and push your camera to maybe expose a little brighter or a little darker on your situation. There's 3 things that you need to play with. Your f-stop, which determines how much is in focus, your shutter speed, which lets the light come into your camera, and your ISO. That is the sensitivity of the light hitting into the sensor, and you can leave it low, which is perfect, but if you can't get the exposure that you want, which we will talk about, then you will push that ISO up. Those are the 3 things that you need to practice to get good exposures. This is where I can tell what my exposure is, and there's a little dot in the middle, and if you look inside the viewfinder in here, when you're looking inside and you push it, you should be able to see at the bottom a little grid, and in that grid you'll see something blinking. If you don't see it, that means that your exposure is like way off to the right or way off to the left. So put your f-stop on a certain number and then start turning your shutter speed. Say your ISO is at 100, and start turning your shutter speed till you see that little line moving up and down. And when you get it in the middle, that's when the camera's saying, this is what will make a good exposure from what's coming into the camera. So the camera is saying itself, yes, this is what, and it gets technical, but we won't get technical today, okay? But just know that that's what the camera's saying. The camera's not always right. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture with, it's called aperture priority, and saying the camera is actually keeping it on my f-stop, which is 2.8, and it's gonna do everything else. And as you can see, it is way blown out. It is so blown out. It looks horrible. It took the picture at 1/100th of a second at 2.8. So I'm gonna change it now to manual mode. To manual. and I'm going to do 2.8, and now it's on manual. And I'm going to change it to, we had 1/100th. I'm going to let less light into the camera. And let me see what it does now. It's showing that it's going to be overexposed. It's jumping all over the place because I have so much going on. That you could see here that it's natural, then it's bright. So it really depends on what it's hitting. There's something dark right here. I can't point to it right there. So it really does depend. Let's go ahead and change it. And now you can see me now. So now I've manually changed it. So now you can see more of what's in the picture, and the camera itself is not doing it. It's a huge thing for me to have you really understand that at first when you're trying photography or learning new tips, please put your camera on manual mode, adjust your f-stop, and try to get the shutter speed in the middle of those lines so you can see where the camera's at. Your ISO hopefully is at 100. Exposure is the main component for all photographers to really learn and to understand how to take pictures. That will push you beyond the rest of the snap shooters. Now, to get more detailed information, if you don't know how to use your f-stop, shutter speed, and ISO, I wrote this information for you all in one post because I feel that if you're out in the field, instead of bouncing around and trying to look for everything, you'll have it here. And I give you the understanding of it all, why it's important, especially for macro photographers, and what it actually is. Like this right here is what's an f-stop for macro photographers. I give you a video, what is the shutter speed, what it really does, and then the ISO basics, like what is it. And I give you all this information on one blog post, and when you're out in the field, or say you're in the studio, you could just pop this in real quick. And if you have any questions, go to the blog post and let me know, and I will answer them ASAP. I'm really on it when it comes to my website more than any kind of social media or stuff like that, even though I love to see you guys there. So check it out here. I'll give you the link for sure. And again, you have questions, let me know. And while you're learning, make sure that your subject, whatever it is, the main subject, has the perfect exposure to it. And if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. I love to talk shop. Did you like this video? If so, subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends. And a huge thank you for watching this. Always remember to express yourself with your photography. 1,000 words does make a difference. I'm Janice Sullivan from Sullivan J Photography, helping you get up close and personal with your camera. Cheers!